أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين واللعنة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. Respected viewers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. In the previous discussion, we were mentioning the laws of wudu. Now, the last topic that is covered within while we talk about wudu is wudu al-jabira. Wudu al-jabira. Now, what is jabira? This is something strange. This is something we've not heard of, right? So, jabira is something that is, for example, if a person is injured, or there is a wound or an injury, or the bone is fractured, all right? So the bandage that is used to cover that is used to cover the injured part is known as jabira. Okay. So the wudu that is performed over that jabira is known as wudu al-jabira. So this is known as jabira wudu al-jabira, right? The wudu that is performed over the bandage or over the plaster that is placed on a fractured bone, right? So till now, what we were discussing, that it's obligatory for a person while he is doing wudu to wash his face and to wash the two arms and to wipe the front part of the head and the 2 feet, all right? The outward part of the 2 feet, the top part of the 2 feet till the ankle, towards from the tip of the fingers towards the ankle, till the ankle, right? But if any of these parts is covered with a jabira, with a bandage, then how should we perform the wudu? How should we perform the wudu? When they say that one must, so we'll be mentioning a few laws regarding wudu al-jabira, right? But the most important thing is the method of performing wudu al-jabira. Now, I might say after a few minutes, after mentioning a few laws, that here in this condition, a person must perform wudu al-jabira. Or in this condition, a person must perform tayammum. Or in this condition, a person must perform his normal wudu, right? So, we know the method of performing normal wudu. We know the method of performing tayammum, but we do not know the method of performing wudu al-jabira. So, how do we do that? Now, take the example of my hand, right? Now, if there is an injury over here and the bandage is placed over here, right? So, what will I do? I will pour water from the elbow and wash this part, and then will place then I'll be placing a tahir piece of cloth on my bandage, and then will be wiping over that. And then I will wash my hand, the remaining hand which is not covered with the bandage, right? So the part that is covered, now take the example, this wrist is covered. If it's covered with a bandage, then what will I do? I will, if the bandage is tahir, if it's pure, if it's pak, then I will wipe over the bandage, and then will wash this part of my hand, right? But if this is not tahir, if there are a few drops of blood or there is some other impurity over this, what will I do? I will place a pure piece of cloth and will wipe over that cloth, and then will wipe my hand. Similarly, if one wishes to do wudu al-jabira in any part of his face or his hand, or while he is wiping his frontal part of his head, or while wiping the 2 feet. So this is the method of performing wudu al-jabira. So while doing wudu al-jabira, we will wipe the jabira. Jabira is the bandage, okay, is that thing that is covered around an injury, whether it be a wound or it be a sore or it be a fractured bone, anything. This is known as jabira. So the method is to wipe the jabira, to wipe that bandage, okay. Now, so this is what is known as jabira. Now, if any part of one's body which should be washed or that should be wiped during wudu, if it's broken, if it's fractured, or if there is a wound or any kind of injury, right? In that event, if it is possible to uncover that part, and water is also not harmful. For example, there is a jabira, there is a bandage on my hand. It's permissible, it's possible for me to uncover this. That means it's not of a fractured bone, right? Because it's not possible sometimes, but after 2 months or after a specific period of time, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, as the doctor prescribes. So sometimes it's not possible to take the jabira out, but sometimes it's possible to remove the bandage. So if it's possible, 1, and water is not harmful, 2, in this condition, it should be taken out. It should be removed. The jabira, the bandage, it should be removed, and then one should perform the wudu normally. He should take his normal wudu, and here is not somewhere where you can do wudu al-jabira, right? So wudu al-jabira is not meant for these kind of places. So here, it's possible for me to remove the bandage first. The second one is, and the water is not harmful. Because if it was not possible, then one will wipe the jabira itself. Or sometimes it might happen that it's possible to remove the jabira, but water is harmful for this injury. So here we will not be wiping on the jabira. That means we will not be uncovering the injury, but we will wipe on the jabira itself, right? So this is the first mas'ala regarding this. Now, the second mas'ala, if there is a wound, right, or a sore, or a fractured bone on one's face or his arms, all right, and it is uncovered, this place is uncovered, but pouring water over it is harmful. This place is uncovered, all right, this place, take the example of my wrist again, that water, it's uncovered, there is no jabira, but water is harmful. Pouring water onto this is harmful. Here in this condition, what one should do is, he should do the normal wudu with the rest of his hand, rest of his arm, and while he reaches this position, this place, he will take his hand and will wipe over the injury, because water is not harmful. Water is not harmful, so he will wipe over the injury itself. Okay. So he will draw the wet hand over the injury, and it's also better that he performs, that he takes or he places a piece of cloth over the injury, and wipes that piece of cloth, right? So this is also permissible. That's what he says, that it's and then he draws a wet hand over the cloth as well. So along with the injury, you will be wiping the injury with your, you will draw your wet hand over the injury, and then will wipe the cloth with the wet hand. Okay. But as far as a bone or a fracture is concerned, in that condition, it's obligatory to take tayammum. You will be doing tayammum. He says, as for the case of a broken bone, it is necessary to perform tayammum instead of doing jabira, right? It's obligatory that one performs tayammum. Okay. Now they say that if this broken part, if the wound or the injury is on the front part of one's head, or is on the upper part of the feet, it's on the feet. That means the two places which we wipe, front part of our head or one of the 2 feet, all right, and the place is uncovered, then in the event that if it's not, if the person is not able to wipe it, why? Because it's injured, all right. So if the wound is covering the entire area, it will not be, the person will not be able to wipe over that injury. In that cases, they say it's necessary for a person to perform tayammum. In this case, one must perform tayammum. All right, and also they say that on the basis of a recommended precaution, on the basis of it's not obligatory, recommended precaution, one must perform wudu as well and place a pure cloth and then wipe the places. So if the front part of the head or the 2 feet, if they are uncovered, all right, and but the person is not able to wipe it in this condition, because if he is able to wipe it, he must wipe it and he will perform the normal wudu. But if he is not able to wipe those places, wipe the front part of the head, or he is not able to wipe the one of the 2 feet because of the injury, here in this condition they say that it's obligatory to take tayammum, to do tayammum, and he won't be doing wudu, he will be doing tayammum. And on the basis of recommended precaution, one must perform wudu as well. So tayammum is obligatory, and it's better to do wudu along with tayammum. Okay, and similarly, how are we going to be performing wudu? We will place that pure cloth on that injury and will wipe that place. All right, but the wetness of the hand should be the moisture should be of the wudu itself, the way we discussed in the third or the second, or probably our earlier discussions, that the wetness of that means when we want to wipe our head, front part of our head or the 2 feet, the moisture that should be used in wiping should be the moisture of wudu. It's not permissible for us to take the water from the tap and wipe our head or wipe the 2 feet. This is not permissible. The moisture should be of the wudu itself. Here also, while we will be wiping the cloth, the piece of cloth, the moisture should be of the wudu. Okay. Also, if the injury, if the wound or the broken bone, the fractured bone, if it's covered, all right, and uncovering it is possible without any excessive difficulty, here also in the condition that the water is not harmful for the person, one must do what? One must uncover the injury and must perform the wudu the way he used to do it earlier. All right, this was something that we discussed earlier as well. Okay, now here, if it's uncovered, if the wound is if it's covered and it's on the face or the arms, in the event that it's harmful to uncover, that means if I uncover the wound, it will be harmful, and if I pour water over it, all right, and it is harmful to uncover and pour water over it, it's harmful. Both these things are harmful. Pouring water over the injury is also harmful, and uncovering the injury is also harmful. All right, or any one of them. Any one of them. I have an injury. It's possible for me to uncover this, but if I uncover it, it's harmful for me. Or if I uncover and pour water over it, it will be harmful. So water is harmful, or uncovering this will be harmful. In this condition, one must wash the area that is possible, and based on obligatory precaution, he must wipe over the jabira. He must wipe over the jabira, the way we discussed. This was also something that we discussed earlier, right? Okay. And also, if it's not possible to uncover the injury, all right, but the wound and the thing that has been placed over it are pure, if these things, if the jabira is pure, and if making water reach the wound, we're not talking about wiping, we're talking about making the water reach the wound, all right, this is also permissible, it's possible, and it's not harmful. In this condition, one must take water and must go over, one must make the water go over the wound, all right, from the top to bottom. Now, if the water reached the spot, there is a jabira, it's covered, all right, and the jabira is there is a bandage, and it's possible for the person to do what? It's possible that one makes the water reach the wound, and it's not harmful if the water reaches there. In this condition, one must do what? One must make the water go to the wound, to the injury that has been played. Okay, and from the top to bottom, we must always take care of the sequence. All right, that it should be from the top to bottom, from the elbow towards the fingers, from the forehead to the top of our forehead towards the chin. Okay. And similarly, if something that has been placed over this is impure, in this event, if it's possible to wash that bandage, because water can go in there, it's possible and it was not harmful, but the bandage here is impure. So here they say that if it's possible to wash that bandage, all right, with water, and then make the water go under the wound, one must wash it. Okay, one must wash it with water, and that means during the time of performing wudu, one must wash the bandage and then make the water go under the wound to the injury. Okay. And if it's not harmful for the person, but washing it with water is not possible. Sometimes washing the bandage with water is not possible. All right, in this condition, the person must perform tayammum. All right, he will not make the water go under this jabira, but he will be performing tayammum instead. So I hope this mas'ala is also clear. There is a jabira on my hand, and it's possible for me to make the water go under this. Water is not harmful if it reaches the injury. It's not harmful. In this condition, what will I do? I will make the water reach in there. And if the jabira itself, if it's najis, in this condition, I must take it out, or I must wash it. I must not take it, I must wash it. All right, I will wash it and then make the water reach the inner parts of my wound, or under the jabira, right? And if it's not possible to wash it in this condition, it's obligatory on the person to do what? To do tayammum. Or he uncovers the jabira. He uncovers, he takes the bandage out, and then he performs the wudu, because water is not harmful. He will perform wudu. If it's not possible, and it's not possible to wash it, then one must perform tayammum. Right, so these were a few laws regarding wudu al-jabira. Okay, now as far as the later part of our discussion is concerned, that is regarding the laws of the holy month of Ramadan, we were discussing those things that invalidate one's fast. One of such thing is to remain in the state of janaba till the time of morning prayers. This makes a person, this invalidates the fast. Okay. Now, we discussed a few laws regarding this. We discussed a few laws regarding this in the previous discussion, and we'll be discussing a few more in today's discussion, inshallah. Okay. Now, this is not only with a person who is junub. The same is the hukum for a woman who got pure from her hayd. She should also not stay in that condition, in that state of hayd, till the time of morning prayers, but should do the ghusl before the morning prayers. All right, it's obligatory on her to do the ghusl before the morning prayers. Now, the same is the case with a person who is junub. Okay. Now, if someone is junub during the night of the holy month of Ramadan, and the person knows that if he sleeps, if the person sleeps, he will not be able to wake up. He will not be able to wake up in the morning and will not be able to do the ghusl before the morning prayers. Here, in this condition, he must not go to sleep. This person must not go to sleep before performing the ghusl, because he knows that if I sleep, I won't be able to perform the ghusl on time. All right? So here, it's obligatory on the person to do the ghusl and then sleep. Okay. Now, in the event that this person, he chooses to go to sleep, he knew that he won't be able to wake up, but he went to sleep. Now, if he goes to sleep before performing the ghusl and does not wake up until the time of the morning prayers, in this condition, it's obligatory on the person to do the qada of this fast, and will also obligatory on the person to give kafara for this. Both qada and kafara will be obligatory on this person. because he knew that if he sleeps, he won't be able to get up before the time of the morning prayers. And then he slept, and after when he slept, he didn't wake up. So in this condition, it's obligatory on him. Both these things, the fast, the qada of this fast, and also the kafara, both these things, they will be obligatory on the person. Okay, now moving to the next mas'ala, they say that if someone is junub on the 9th of the holy month of Ramadan, and the person is certain, he is confident that if he goes to sleep, he will be able to wake up before the morning prayers. Before the time of the morning prayer sets in, I will be able to wake up. I have enough time to sleep. And then what happens is he goes to sleep before the time of the subh. Okay. Now, in the event that he decides to perform ghusl after waking up, he goes to sleep with this decision, but he remains asleep until the time of the subh prayers, until the time of the morning prayers, his fast will be valid. And take the example of the person again, the mas'ala, that if someone, he knows that I have ample of time and it's possible for me to wake up. Someone, he became junub on the night of the holy month of Ramadan, and then he knew that if I sleep, I will wake up before the morning prayers. Okay, now what did he do? He went to sleep, but he didn't wake up. He did not wake up in this condition because he knew he will be able to wake up, but accidentally or because of some other factor, he was not able to wake up. He was confident, but he didn't wake up. So in this condition, his fast is valid. It's valid and it's absolutely all right. Okay. So moving on to the next one. The next mas'ala is mas'ala 1603. They say that if a person who is fasting, if he has a wet dream, that means while he is asleep, he becomes muhtalim. Muhtalim meaning that the discharge of semen takes place while the person is sleeping. This person is known as muhtalim if this happens on the day of the holy month of Ramadan. For example, if someone was sleeping at 4 o'clock in the evening and he was fasting, he fell asleep and then he became muhtalim. Alright, he became muhtalim in that condition. Now after when he wakes up, it's not obligatory on him to do the ghusl right then. He can delay it. There is no problem if the discharge takes place during the day while the person is asleep. Okay, if he becomes muhtalim during the daytime, it's not obligatory on the person to just go straight away and do the ghusl. No, his fast will be valid, but while the time of the prayers it sets in, it will be obligatory on the person to do the ghusl and then will say his obligatory prayers. Okay, so the only difficulty is that if a person becomes junub during the night of the holy month of Ramadan, this person should enter the day. The day is the time when the morning prayer sets in. The time of the morning prayer sets in. That is 4:15, as we said in the previous session. So that's the time. But that's the time when we enter into our fast, right? Because that's the time when the fast begins. So while the person is entering that time, he should be in the state of spiritual purity, whether it be ghusl or tayammum. This is something that invalidates the fast. But during the day, if something happens while a person is asleep, if the discharge of semen takes place while the person is sleeping, this will not invalidate the fast. And even if a person wakes up, it's not obligatory on him to go and do the ghusl right then. It's not obligatory, but he can do something and he can just go here and there and will be doing the ghusl whenever he wants. His fast will be all right. His fast, this will not make any difficulty. This will not be invalidating his fast at all. Okay. Now the last mas'ala which we'll be discussing today is that if someone who wants to keep a qada fast of the holy month of Ramadan, if this person, if he wakes up, now this is something that is out of the holy month of Ramadan, but here he mentions in 1605, mas'ala 1605, that if someone he wants to keep a qada fast of the holy month of Ramadan, and he wakes up after the time of the morning prayers, and he finds himself in the state of janaba, all right, and if he knows that he had a wet dream, he came into that state of janaba before the morning prayers, before the time of the subh, the morning prayers, he can fast on that day with the intention of keeping a qada fast of the month of Ramadan. It's permissible. So this is also another mas'ala, and there are a few other masail regarding this. We'll be discussing them insha'Allah tomorrow. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi at-tahirin.